Ruth Langston was not your typical 82-year-old. With silver hair neatly pinned back and sparkling blue eyes, she carried a youthful spirit that defied her age. For as long as she could remember, music had been the soundtrack of her life, filling her days with joy and comfort. Among all the artists she loved, one stood out: Frank Sinatra. His smooth voice and timeless songs captivated her heart, making her feel connected to a world of dreams and romance. As a young girl, Ruth would listen to Sinatra on the radio, imagining herself dancing at a glamorous party where he was the star. She dreamed of attending one of his concerts, believing it would be a magical experience that would stay with her forever. However, life had its own plans. Responsibilities and challenges came, making it difficult for her to pursue that dream. Family obligations and financial struggles often took precedence over her desires. Yet, through all those years, Ruth held on to the hope of seeing Sinatra live. Time passed, but her passion for his music never faded. Now, with the concert date finally approaching, anticipation filled her heart like confetti in the air. She prepared for this moment as if it were a special occasion, selecting her favorite outfit and practicing how she would express her admiration. This was not just another concert. It was the culmination of a lifelong dream, one that kept her spirit alive through all the seasons of life. Tonight would be different. It was her chance to connect with the voice that had brought her so much joy. Ruth's love for music blossomed in her childhood home, where the radio played softly in the background every afternoon. Her mother would hum along to the songs, filling their small kitchen with warmth and laughter. It was here that young Ruth first heard Frank Sinatra's enchanting voice. His smooth melodies painted pictures of elegance and romance, whisking her away to a world where anything seemed possible. As a teenager, Ruth would gather with friends after school to talk about their dreams and play records. Sinatra's songs became the soundtrack of those carefree days, echoing their hopes and heartaches. Tracks like "Fly Me to the Moon" and "My Way" resonated deeply, providing both comfort and inspiration. They would dance in their living rooms, imagining glamorous ballrooms filled with light. However, life wasn't always easy. As she grew older, Ruth faced challenges that came with age and responsibility. Financial struggles and family duties sometimes pushed her passion for music to the side. Yet, through all the ups and downs, the magic of Sinatra's music remained her steady companion. It was a source of strength during difficult times, lifting her spirits with its soothing notes. Now, as the concert day approached, memories of those early years bubbled up inside her like cherished treasures. Each song replayed in her mind reminded her of moments spent dreaming and dancing. This evening held more than just the promise of music. It represented a lifetime of love, hope, and connection that shaped who she had become. As the date of the concert drew nearer, Ruth couldn't help but think about the long and winding road that had led her to this moment. The dream of seeing Frank Sinatra live had flickered in her heart for decades, but life often presented obstacles that seemed insurmountable. In her younger years, Ruth faced financial limitations that made attending concerts impossible. Money was tight as she worked hard to support her family, and entertainment often took a backseat to everyday responsibilities. She remembered saving every spare penny in hopes of one day affording a ticket, only to see those plans dashed by unexpected bills or emergencies. Health issues also complicated her journey. Over the years, Ruth dealt with various ailments that sometimes left her weary and uncertain about the future. There were times when she questioned if she would ever get the chance to fulfill her lifelong wish. Yet, through all these struggles, there was always a flicker of hope fueled by Sinatra's music. His songs became a source of strength for her, a reminder that dreams were worth chasing. When Ruth finally learned about this concert, she felt an overwhelming sense of determination rise within her. Saving cautiously and leaning on the support of loving friends who encouraged her dreams, she bought her ticket with tears of joy streaming down her face. Now, on the brink of attending the show she had waited for all her life, Ruth saw this night not just as a performance but as a victory over life's hurdles, a celebration of resilience and an unwavering spirit. As the concert day drew closer, Ruth felt a whirlwind of emotions swirling within her: excitement, hope, and a touch of nostalgia. Each morning, she woke with a flutter in her heart, counting the days like a child awaiting Christmas. Memories danced through her mind like the notes of Sinatra's songs, reminding her of the moments when his music had been her refuge. In her cozy living room, Ruth carefully selected an outfit for the concert, wanting to look just right for the occasion. She chose a beautiful blue dress that brought out her sparkling eyes and made her feel young again. As she prepared, she reminisced about the countless times she had imagined this moment over the years, the thrill of seeing Sinatra on stage and feeling the magic of his music wash over her. Each evening, she'd listen to his classics, letting the familiar melodies wrap around her like a warm hug. Songs like "Strangers in the Night" and "New York, New York" filled her with nostalgia, transporting her back to dances with friends and quiet nights spent dreaming about what could be. Those memories fueled her anticipation even more. As she reflected on all that had led her here, from childhood dreams to overcoming life's obstacles, Ruth felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. This concert was not just another event, it symbolized a lifetime spent nurturing dreams that never faded. With each passing hour, she drew closer to realizing a dream she thought might never come true, a night where she would finally see Frank Sinatra live and bask in the joy that his music had always brought her. As Ruth arrived at the concert venue, the air buzzed with excitement. The Grand Theater was alive with chatter, laughter, and the rustle of programs as fans eagerly anticipated the show. Colorful lights shimmered above her, casting a warm glow that matched the energy of the crowd. Everywhere she looked, people of all ages wore bright smiles, united by their love for Sinatra's music. Ruth took a deep breath, soaking in the atmosphere. The scent of popcorn and fresh flowers filled her senses, while the sound of live music filled the air as the house band played softly in the background. She could feel her heart racing as she made her way to her front row seat, a dream come true after so many years of waiting. The stage was beautifully adorned with elegant decorations, creating an inviting space that promised a night to remember. As the lights dimmed and the crowd erupted in applause, Ruth felt a wave of emotion wash over her. This was it. The moment she had longed for was finally here. When Sinatra stepped onto the stage, the cheers intensified, and Ruth's breath caught in her throat. He looked every bit the legend she had admired her whole life, dapper and charismatic. As he took center stage, there was an undeniable magic in the air. It felt as if time stood still, all her dreams converged into this singular moment filled with anticipation and joy. With each note he sang, Ruth knew this night would be etched in her memory forever, a celebration of music, dreams, and the connection that only Frank Sinatra could create. As Sinatra stepped into the spotlight, Ruth's heart soared with joy. Sitting in the front row, she felt as if the music was pouring directly into her soul. When he began singing, "My Way," the crowd erupted in applause, but to Ruth, it felt like he was singing just for her. Each note resonated deeply within her, awakening memories of her youth and dreams that spanned decades. With every song, Ruth found herself swaying gently in her seat, completely immersed in the performance. When he performed, "Fly Me to the Moon," she closed her eyes and envisioned dancing under starry skies, recalling moments from her past filled with laughter and love. The lyrics wrapped around her like a warm embrace, reminding her of all the times his music had lifted her spirits during difficult periods. She couldn't help but smile as Sinatra effortlessly delivered each classic hit, his smooth voice captivating everyone in the theater. The energy in the room was electric. Fans sang along, their voices rising together in harmony. For Ruth, this moment was magical, a culmination of all those years spent dreaming and hoping. As he transitioned into "Strangers in the Night," she felt tears welling up in her eyes. It was almost overwhelming to finally witness the man whose voice had been a constant source of inspiration and comfort throughout her life. In that moment, surrounded by music and fellow fans who shared her passion, Ruth knew she would cherish this experience forever. This concert was not just a memory being created, it was a celebration of everything Sinatra represented, a timeless connection between his music and her heart. As the concert reached its final moments, Ruth felt a surge of emotion welling up inside her. The lights dimmed slightly, and the audience erupted in cheers, signaling the end of what had been a spectacular performance. With her heart racing, Ruth clutched a single white rose, a symbol of her admiration and love for Sinatra and the music that had profoundly shaped her life. As Sinatra took his final bow, she knew this was the moment she had been waiting for. Summoning all her courage, she stood up and extended the rose toward him, her heart pounding in her chest. In that instant, everything else faded away, the crowd, the noise, the flashing lights, until it felt like it was just her and Sinatra on that stage. Sinatra caught sight of her gesture, his eyes lighting up with a warm smile. He gracefully walked toward Ruth and accepted the rose with an elegant flourish. The crowd gasped in delight as she beamed with joy, feeling like she was living in a dream. "Thank you," he said softly, then leaned closer to her. "You waited this long, you deserve something to remember it by." With that, he presented her with one of his cufflinks, a precious gift that took Ruth completely by surprise. She held it close to her chest, whispering, "Now I can go in peace." In that unforgettable moment filled with love and gratitude, Ruth realized that this concert wasn't just a performance. It was a celebration of the dreams she had cherished and a lifelong connection to the music that had always been there for her. As Sinatra accepted the rose, a radiant smile spread across his face, illuminating the stage and captivating the audience. He took a moment to admire the delicate flower, its white petals reflecting the bright lights of the theater. The connection between him and Ruth felt electric, as if their shared love for music had created an unbreakable bond in that fleeting moment. With grace, Sinatra stepped down from the stage, weaving through applause and cheers. Each step brought him closer to Ruth, and she felt her heart flutter with joy. This wasn't just any concert, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience that felt surreal. As he approached her, the world around them faded away, leaving only their shared moment. Sinatra leaned closer and said softly, "You waited this long, you deserve something to remember it by." With that heartfelt gesture, he presented her with one of his cufflinks, a token of appreciation that held not only its material value but also a piece of his spirit. Ruth's eyes widened in surprise and delight as she accepted it from him, feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Holding the cufflink close to her chest, she whispered, "Now I can go in peace." The words echoed her deep appreciation for this extraordinary encounter. In that precious instant, surrounded by music and admiration, Ruth understood that this moment was more than just a memory. It was a beautiful culmination of her lifelong journey, a reminder that dreams can come true against all odds. She would cherish this sentiment forever, carrying it with her as a beacon of hope and love. As Sinatra leaned closer and said, "You waited this long, you deserve something to remember it by," his words resonated deeply with Ruth. It wasn't just a casual remark. It felt like an acknowledgement of her life's journey and the dreams she had held onto for so long. In that moment, the connection between them transcended the space of the concert hall, forming an invisible thread that tied their experiences together. Ruth understood that Sinatra was honoring not just her presence but also the dedication and resilience she had shown over the years. His music had been a constant in her life, lifting her spirits during difficult times and filling her heart with hope. His recognition of her weight made her feel valued and seen in a way she had never anticipated. The cufflink he offered her wasn't merely a piece of jewelry. It symbolized all the years of longing and devotion she had poured into her love for his music. Each time she glanced at it, she would be reminded of this extraordinary evening, of the man who had given voice to so many of her feelings through his songs. In that fleeting exchange, Ruth felt transformed. The belief that she deserved something beautiful was reinforced, and it sparked a renewed sense of purpose within her. She realized that dreams could take time to materialize, but when they do, they often bring unexpected gifts along with them, gifts of connection, appreciation, and joy that can last a lifetime. This profound encounter was more than just a conclusion to a concert. It marked the beginning of a cherished memory that would forever inspire her heart. Ruth clutched the cufflink tightly against her chest, feeling its cool metal beneath her fingers. A wave of emotion swelled within her, and she found herself overcome with gratitude and fulfillment. This small token wasn't just an accessory, it embodied a lifetime of longing, resilience, and devotion to the music that had been an unwavering source of comfort in her life. Holding it close, she whispered through glistening tears, "Now I can go in peace." Those words came from a place deep within her heart, where dreams had lingered for so many years. In that moment, it was as if all the struggles she had faced had dissolved away, replaced by a profound sense of completion and joy. She felt like she was finally closing the last chapter of a long journey, one filled with both hardships and sweet moments. Around her, the audience continued to cheer and applaud, but Ruth was lost in her own world. Nothing else mattered except this intimate exchange between her and Sinatra. It was as if time stood still while he remained in her presence, a memory frozen forever in that magical evening. The cufflink would serve as a cherished reminder, a piece of history linking her to the man whose voice had carried her through so many seasons of life. Every time she looked at it or touched it, she would remember this night, and how it symbolized everything she had ever dreamed about. With a heart full of love and appreciation, Ruth knew that this experience would stay with her always, a beautiful culmination of a lifetime spent honoring music that spoke to her very soul. In the quiet after the concert, Ruth reflected on the enormity of that moment and what it symbolized for her life. The cufflink was not merely a souvenir, it represented all the dreams she had pursued against the odds. Each challenge she faced, be it financial hardships, health struggles, or simply time slipping away, had only fueled her desire to experience this night. As she held the cufflink, Ruth thought about her journey. Her late-night sing-alongs with friends, the moments spent dancing in her living room, and the solace she found in Sinatra's songs during tough times came rushing back. It all added up to more than just a concert. It was validation of each step she had taken along the way. Ruth realized that following one's dreams often comes with hurdles. Yet, in her case, those very challenges made the rewards more significant. This night was a reminder that perseverance pays off, and dreams are worth chasing, even if it takes a lifetime to see them fulfilled. Each note sung by Sinatra echoed the heartbeats of countless moments that shaped who she was. With tear-filled eyes and a full heart, she understood that this encounter illustrated hope and connection. She had waited so long for this one fleeting moment, and now, standing at its culmination, she felt alive with gratitude. It confirmed that no matter how many hurdles life presented, faith in one's dreams could lead to miraculous outcomes. Ruth knew this experience would inspire her for years to come, lighting her path towards future aspirations yet to unfold. As Ruth settled into her thoughts after the concert, she realized how profoundly music had woven itself into the fabric of her life. The evening with Sinatra marked not just the realization of a dream but also highlighted the enduring themes of hope and perseverance. Each challenge she encountered along the way, whether financial struggles or health issues, had only strengthened her resolve to experience this moment. The cufflink resting against her heart was a testament to the magical bond between music and memories. It symbolized the joy found in pursuing one's passions, reminding her that even the longest journeys can lead to beautiful destinations. Ruth understood that the connection she felt with Sinatra was not merely about a fleeting moment but represented a lifetime of love, longing, and resilience. As she reflected on all the years spent dreaming of this night, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude, not only for the concert itself but for the memories created along the way. The many late-night sing-alongs, the dances in her living room, and the comfort found in his songs during tough times all converged in that single moment, reinforcing her belief in the power of dreams. Ruth knew that this experience would inspire her in ways she could not yet imagine. She would carry it forward as both a reminder and a motivator, embracing whatever life had to offer next. With a heart full of hope and joy, Ruth recognized that music has an extraordinary way of capturing life's essence, creating bonds that can last a lifetime and reminding us to never stop dreaming.